Hey everyone, welcome back to On the Fence Movie Reviews. I am Adrian, joined by my co-host Rob. Today we're going to be talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode number 4. So, as we have been doing with the previous episode reviews, we're going to warn you right here. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about stuff that happened in the episode. And if you don't want it ruined for you, I would suggest maybe you pause this video, watch episode 4, and then come back and watch our review. So, to pick up right where everything left off, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam and Bucky, they broke out. Well, depending on who you ask, they broke out Zemo, and he's got a vendetta against super soldiers, and he has an ideology against super soldiers, which he explains throughout the previous two episodes, episode 3 and episode 4. And so he is teamed up with the Falcon and Winter Soldier to help track down the Flag Smashers, who are using this super soldier serum to help them and help build their army and help their cause. So using Baron Zemo's resources, they are hot on their trail. All the while, the Dora Milaje, they show up and they say, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you breaking them out?" They are talking to Bucky and they go, "You've got 8 hours to find whatever you need to find, and after that, we're coming after him." So he's like, "All right." So that's basically what happens. And so Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're really trying to resolve this whole issue without having to fight and find the leader of the Flag Smashers. And meanwhile, we have fake Captain America, John Walker, I believe his name is, and his partner Lamar, who are on the trail of Bucky and Winter Soldier, and they're using them to try to find the Flag Smashers. What ensues after all of that is pretty gnarly, so let's jump right into it. Rob, what were your thoughts of this episode, and let's talk about it.
All right, let's do that. I first and foremost, I'm gonna say this is probably my favorite episode of the season so far.
Yeah.
You got some action, you got some, I guess some sentimental stuff, some heart. You get some heart in this, especially at the very beginning of this episode. You get a little taste of Bucky back in Wakanda, and just kind of them helping him get over this, the mind control that when you would read those words out, those random words, he would turn into the Winter Soldier. You get a little taste of how the Wakandans helped him undo this brainwashing.
Yeah.
So we get that. Just the action in this movie is great. I really enjoyed. There's a lot of I'm not gonna say they're like undertones, but there's a lot of like social kind of issues in this movie. Like they're talking about borders and kind of like when the blip happened and everyone was gone. How the world just kind of came together and they had to work together and then when everyone came back, it was like there was it was just too much of everyone all at once. And you through this episode, I believe the leader of the Flag Smashers is Carly, if I'm not mistaken. You see like and this is what a good show, good series, a good movie will do, is get you to empathize and kind of understand its antagonist and what they're doing with her. And I believe Sam have said it either in this episode or a previous episode, where you understand where she's coming from. You wouldn't take her road the way she's going about doing things.
It was this episode. He said something like, I agree with your fight. I just don't agree with how you're going about it.
Right. And that's pretty much it. Like for me watching, I was like, okay, like I get what she's doing and I understand it. It's probably not the best way to go about it, but I feel like in her position, she thinks that this is the only way. This is what we need, because she even says like, we lost, like we had this and we had to work together. Then we lost it because when everyone came back, it was just taken away from us. And now, we need to take back. And one thing, one of the characters that was with Carly, also one of those things that I did like is one of the guy character with Carly. I forgot his name, but he is telling her like kind of you're our Captain America. We look at Captain America as like the American symbol, but he was saying like she is like their Captain America, their symbol.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, you know, obviously what she's doing I'm not okay with, but I understand their need to find their Captain America. There's someone to look up to and for hope. So just overall, this whole episode, I think they did a really good job of kind of touching on social issues and just showing that and even the character says in this episode, before everything was black and white, and it was bad and bad versus good, and it's not like that anymore. And I think they did a really good job of showing that throughout this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know, what did you think, Adrian?
Well, no, I agree with a lot of what you were saying. As far as for me, it really was the best episode, because I'll be honest, like the first 3 episodes were fine. They were good, but I don't know. It was very kind of paint by numbers Marvel. There was nothing new or exciting about this series for me. But this last episode, like what you're saying, is really bringing in those social dilemmas, right? And especially too when they're talking about like, okay, when the snap happened and everybody disappeared, everybody was so like, it was like the borders disappeared with it. Like everybody didn't matter where you were from. Everybody was all kind of coming together to help one another out to kind of get through this.
They had to work together.
Exactly. And so when when the blip happened, everybody comes back and it kind of throws everything out of whack. Everybody is just, those borders sort of went back up, and they're trying to restore a world where it's like a world without borders, a world where everybody does get along and everybody does help out, and people are no longer displaced or refugees or what have you.
Right.
It didn't matter where they were from. It was like, you know what, you're here, you're part of our home or whatever. But the way they're going about to try to restore that is obviously not the best way to go about things. And what's funny is, as I was watching this episode and I thought about that, it reminded me of the closest thing that I could think of was 9/11, right?
Okay.
When 9/11 happened here in the States, it seemed like everybody kind of came together after this tragedy. Everybody seemed to kind of put aside differences and those sorts of things, and people were a lot more friendly and more helpful with those things. But as time kind of got on and everybody got a little bit more comfortable,
they went back into their old ways.
Yeah, exactly. But I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I really enjoyed the scene where Sam is talking to her, where he's like, look, I dealt with soldiers who were dealing with trauma, and this is right in my wheelhouse. She's dealing with trauma herself. Let me try to talk her out of it. And even fake Captain John Walker, he wants to just bust in there and arrest them, but his partner was like, no, maybe if we could talk our way out of it, then let's give it a shot, which is really cool. And so again, I really enjoyed that whole scene. And then as this escalates, you start to see that Zemo has his own vendetta. There's things not quite sure yet what he's going to do or what he's going to try to do, but you could tell he's obviously not going to be able to be trusted. And also, they brought back the Sharon Carter, and she's kind of like that underworld. What is she like selling, like stolen art and whatnot? But she's like she's helping Sam and Bucky kind of through this. But with the Dora Milaje, that was also an interesting thing. I really like that scene where they kind of come in. They're like, "Where is he? Your 8 hours are up." And there's that confrontation with the fake Cap and Lamar, and it just turns into this big old fight. But that begs into the deeper question. I really like the way John Walker is written out, because he's the guy, you could tell he's like the good old American boy who wants to serve his country, who wants to do right, and like what you were talking about, right? The back in the where they say back in the old days everything was black and white, good and bad. In his mind of John Walker, there's that contrast. He doesn't see things in the gray. Everything is black and white. America and the opposite. So we're the good guys, everyone else is the bad guys, right? And so he kind of operates that way. And so to see that fight and to see the way it plays out, and his psyche of dealing with, man, I can't even fight these people and defeat these people when they're not even super soldiers. And he has that conversation with his partner, and there he's like, if there was that serum, would you take it? And he's like, yeah, but then again, you also have those side effects. And so there's that conflict. Like, he wants to do right, but it's almost as if he doesn't fully understand
Well,
what.
yeah,
No,
no,
go ahead.
I get you with that, and to me, okay, so I feel like, okay, so in this episode, he gets his hands on some of that serum, and but I think, just in my opinion, I think he's looking for reasons to take the serum. Like, obviously, he
Okay.
gets it. He doesn't take it right away, but I don't know his knowledge of Wakanda, but I mean, not Bucky, Sam pretty much tells him right off the bat, like, you don't mess with these ladies. You might as well, first mess with the Winter Soldier before you mess with the Dora
Mess with him,
Milaje.
yeah.
So I mean, it to me, I think, like, because I mean, he gets his butt kicked, and
Yeah.
it's just, and yeah, he kind of takes that, and he's like, oh man, like, they're not super soldiers, but we've seen them, we've
Yeah.
seen the Dora Milaje handle themselves against formidable foes. So it's not like, because I think if you took them up against some army of super soldiers, they could handle themselves because they are trained to the
They know how
highest
to fight,
ability. So,
yeah.
but I think John Walker through this episode, he's looking for a reason. Once he gets his hand on that serum, he's looking for a reason. So he could have been like, you know what, these women warriors are the elite of the elite. So it's not that I didn't do a good job. It's just that these ladies are amazing. He could have kind of taken it along those roads, but I think he was just
Yeah.
looking for something. And then when he's talking to his partner, Lamar, he's kind of he's searching for, his okay, almost, because he doesn't tell him he has it,
Yeah.
but he's looking for his okay. So regardless of what happens in the show, like the outcome, I feel like he's just trying to find a reason to take that serum. And I think
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
him having that deep conversation with Lamar, like you were just mentioning, and Lamar even says, like, imagine if we had that, like, how many people we could have saved in this incident that they were both in. And so I feel like that maybe kind of put him over. So me personally, I just think he was looking for a reason,
Yeah.
because him saying, like, oh, they're not even super soldiers and I couldn't even fight them, it was just an excuse, and like another, okay, well, this is another reason for me to take the serum. And now I'm talking to my partner, and now he's like, oh, well, if we had this. So he, instead of listening to what Lamar says about, like, oh yeah, there are the side effects, he doesn't listen to that. He listens to the part where he says, oh well, if we could have done this if we had it. So I think he was looking for any reason to take it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think also too, when Zemo's having that conversation with Sam, and he's
Oh yeah.
talking about how he believes that the serum is basically like a gateway to supremacy. When you create this race of superhuman, they tend to no longer see the need for those that are beneath them or below
Right.
them or whatever, and so it's a path to supremacy. And and Sam was obviously like, well, Captain America never did that, and he's like, well, that's true, but how many Captain Americas are there really? And he believes that
Yeah.
you take it and it kind of leads them on that path. And so when we see that ending, right, when we get to that
Oh
ending
man.
where there's that fight with the Flag Smashers, and it's John Walker and his partner there, and his partner gets smashed into a wall, or like a pillar or whatever, and basically he's pretty much dead. He's trying to wake him up, he's not getting up. He's like, Lamar, get up. He's taking the serum now. He's like got a fit of rage, and so he chases down one of the guys there, and literally beats him to death. And it is
With not just beats him to death, he beats him to death with that symbol. He beats him to death with the shield,
yes.
I think, which kind of makes it more, it's just it's more symbolic with that, him just doing it. Yeah, I don't, it's a crazy scene. It's a crazy scene.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea, is this kind of like saying, and we're it's obviously a political show, it's a social commentary,
Right.
and I think it's also kind of to say that, maybe, America got blood on their hands, so you got that blood on that symbol, like, that's like they're not clean either, so
Right.
America is not clean, it's not that black and white, like what they're trying to talk about. And we see he kind of goes to that edge, right? He's pushed, and now what was always talked about, even the original Captain America, the first Avenger, where a good becomes great, but bad becomes worse or evil, or however the doctor telling Steve. And so whatever is in John Walker already kind of becomes amplified, and I think there might be anger issues, whatever. And so he kind of takes it
Right.
over the line, and everyone's got their cell phones out as it is, and recording. And so now we don't know, but we'll see probably in this next episode what the fallout will be with new Captain America killing one of these people here, and how the rest of the world will take that. And we'll see what the outcome is.
I think that last shot, just him, because we've seen, to me at least, the way I saw it is, I've seen Steve Rogers, the Captain America that we've all known and grown to love. We've seen him strap that shield on and just hold it. And one thing that came to my mind was him strapping his shield up in Endgame when Thanos' army's all in front of him, and he just straps that thing up, and he's like, all right, like, we're gonna do this, and his shield's broken and everything. And it took me back to that scene. And then I think, like, look what he's done to Captain America's shield. Like, he has it strapped up, the framing's there, he's got the suit on, it's John Walker as Captain America, but it's not damaged from a just battle. It's beating someone to death with it. And that, at that point, I mean, I've already thought, like, John Walker, this, to me, fake Captain America, as you always say, this guy's not Captain America. He has his shield and he's wearing his costume.
Yeah.
But when I seen that image, I was just like, I've never, like, this is not Captain. I was like, this is not Captain America. You, and never at any point would Steve Rogers be like, okay, I'm like, kill this person who was already beat. The guy was on the floor, he was beat. He was telling him, like, hey, like, no, this and that. He was pretty much, he was defenseless, and he holds that shield up, and to me, that shot of him holding the shield up and bringing it down, it's just like, it left me speechless. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, and you know what? And I was surprised that Marvel took it
Yeah.
there, because they're not really known for being that dark. They're more Saturday morning cartoon kind of dark. Like,
Right.
it's like, it's dark, but it's not like really dark.
Not smash your face in with the shield dark.
Yeah. So when he did that, and then when he has the shield covered in blood, I was like, wow, they actually took it there. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But it was a really, like what you're saying, that iconography, that look, that shot, it really hammers the point home about the messages that they're trying to hit there with America, and good and bad and all of that just being more of a gray area than actual black and white.
Yeah.
And so it was a really good way to end the episode, because then, like I said before, the first 3 episodes were kind of like, whatever, it's fine, it's good, not really amazing or anything that I was really excited to see. Like, for me, I hate comparing things, but it's the only thing I really have to compare it to is the previous Marvel series, which is WandaVision.
Okay.
It was so different, unique, and new, that, and mysterious, that, like, I was, every Thursday night I had to, I can't wait to watch it, because I want to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Here was kind of like, all right, I'll watch it the weekend it comes out, but I wasn't in a rush. It wasn't something that I was super excited about. But after seeing this episode, it's kind of like really piqued my interest again, and really got me into it, and I said, okay, let's see where this goes now with John Walker and Sam and Bucky, and even Zemo, where where did he disappear to? Because he was able to escape in the middle of the fight and everything.
Zemo is fast becoming. I'm not going to say one of my favorite characters, but like they don't give him justice in Civil War. They don't do his character justice, and I feel like with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he's kind of like the X factor in this. I feel like uh the actor's name
Daniel Bruhl.
Daniel Bruhl. There you go. He is doing an amazing job playing Zemo, and I like them three together. Like I like Bucky, Sam, and Zemo together. Yeah. I think them three together. Obviously, they got some issues with Zemo, but I think them together, they like they're like not so much holding the show, but they are pushing this show forward, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely brings that dynamic. He definitely brings the intrigue, his charisma. I really love Daniel Bruhl as an actor. I think what he brings is excellent. And honestly, in my opinion, he's one of the best villains that we've had in the MCU because of what he was able to accomplish. He wasn't a guy with superpowers or any amazing ability, but he was able to basically infiltrate and tear apart the Avengers, and nearly destroy them from within. And I thought that was and his character arc about who he was and where he came from and why he was doing what he was doing made it so more unique and interesting than other characters that we've had. But now they've kind of added this extra layer onto him by making him the Baron, and he has that sort of vendetta, I guess you will, against the super soldiers, and he really wants to see a world without them. And so what he does from here on out and what's going to happen next, because obviously he escaped, I'm interested to see him. I could watch a whole series just on him because
for sure
he's so fascinating as a character. But overall, I think it's starting to go up now, and be a lot better than what we've been seeing. So I am excited about that. And so whatever happens next week, I'm excited to see. Well, guys, thanks for watching our review of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, episode number 4. Why don't you comment down below? Let us know. Do you like this series or do you not care for it? What do you think of it overall? Let's get that conversation going and we'll see where it goes. Also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at On the Fence Movie Reviews.
And remember, we will catch you on the fence.